everybody. So I am 32 weeks today, and I think the biggest thing with being 32 weeks is that it's the beginning of the 8th month. So that's really exciting. Just getting closer and closer, and I'm so excited for that. So I'll do my app thing, and this week the Pregnancy Plus app is still saying that they're the size of these small pumpkins. They're supposed to be measuring still about 16 to 19 inches and weighing about 3.5-ish pounds. And then the What to Expect app says the same thing about the weight and the height of the babies, but the vegetable that they're referring them to this week is a head of lettuce. So to give you kind of a visual, that's what they're saying these babies size-wise should be. However, we did have an appointment with my perinatal doctor this week, and just as they have been, the babies are measuring on the bigger side of the spectrum. They didn't tell me the percentile that they're in this week, but so Caleb, our little boy, he is measuring according to their how they measure the weight. He is about 5 pounds 2 ounces. Lila is measuring at 4 pounds 15 ounces. So basically, she's 1 ounce away from 5 pounds. He's 2 ounces over 5 pounds. So really, I have 2 5-pound babies in there, which is just bonkers to think about. There are 10 pounds of baby in there. I wasn't surprised to hear those numbers. I kind of figured they were close to the 5-pound range, just based on the last appointment and how much weight they say the babies are supposed to be gaining, at this point in the pregnancy. It's just kind of crazy, at 32 weeks to think that there are 2 5-pounders in there. And my next perinatal appointment isn't for a month. So as long as I can make it to 36 weeks, which is my goal, it'll be interesting to see if at that point I have 2 7-pound babies, because they say around this point the babies are gaining about 1/2 pound a week. So in 4 weeks, that's 2 pounds a piece. And that puts them at 7 pounds at 36 weeks. So we will see. I forgot to ask the doctor how accurate those measurements are as far as the weight. I have a friend that did say with her high-risk doctor, they told her the measurements are plus or minus a pound. So I don't know. I don't know if, maybe the babies are measuring, if they're actually only 4 pounds, but they're measuring a little bit bigger, or if maybe they're on the large side, if they're on that plus side and they're actually 6 pounds, which would be crazy. But they're being pretty consistent with the size that they have been measuring the whole time. So that's good. The funny thing about them this week is the measurements for their heads. It is no secret in my family, for me specifically, I had a head in the 105th percentile when I was born. I have a gigantic head. My mom has a big head, and my dad has a gigantic head too. I don't care how, they can make as much fun of me as they want for having this gigantic head. I got it from both of them. So, luckily for my babies, they also have gigantic heads. So I'm 32 weeks today. Caleb's head is measuring at 35 weeks and 3 days, the circumference of his head. And Lila's head is measuring at 34 weeks flat. So they are both large. They are both measuring large. And the only concerning thing for me is that, I did ask the doctor about a weight limit for the babies, because, I would imagine there's only so much room in there. And I had read somewhere that with twins, if they're on the larger side, there's a chance that they could compress the umbilical cord, and that can cause all kinds of problems. So I asked if there was like a weight limit or a size limit, and my perinatal doctor said no, not particularly unless there's a cause for concern, which as of right now they're not, because both babies are measuring pretty on track with each other. One's not significantly bigger than the other, which would be cause for concern that something was wrong with the umbilical cord for one baby, or maybe one baby was just taking all the nutrients themselves, or whatever it would be. But as of right now, since they're both pretty much equal, they're only 3 ounces apart, everything's good. So the biggest cause for concern for me with the size that they are is Caleb is the one that's head down. He's the one that if I'm able to be induced or to go into labor naturally, he would be the one coming out first. And what concerns me is if his head at 32 weeks is measuring the size of a baby who's at 35 and a half weeks, I can only imagine if his head continues to grow when I hit 36 weeks, how big it's going to be then. So what concerns me is the idea of trying to go through the birthing process with him, being that he's already measuring so big. We'll see if that continues. I don't know if that slows down. I obviously have never been through this before, so I don't know. But I can't imagine going through the birthing process, trying everything that I could, and maybe even being able to birth him and go through everything that would entail and still have to have a C-section with her since she's breech. But again, only time will tell with this. We will see how big they just keep getting. It's not a bad thing to have large twins. It's better than them being too small. But it's definitely, I can't help, I mean, I don't have anything else to do but laugh about it just because it's funny. And there's nothing I can do about it. They're just growing little babies and it's all good. Everything is good. I could have a lot more things to complain about. As far as I go, everything is good. Everything is pretty much the same as last week. Tired, I'm uncomfortable, all of the above. We did buy a recliner this last week with the intentions of me being able to sleep in it, but that really hasn't worked out so well because being in the leaning back position or even laying down in it, just the pressure of my stomach on my back starts to hurt and it gets really achy. And then, you know, I try to move from one side to the other and it just hasn't worked yet. But during the day, when I'm able to sit in it and put my feet up, you know, we still usually put pillows. It's more comfortable sitting in that chair than it is just sitting on the couch with my feet propped up. So overall, I am still happy that we purchased it. But right now I'm not sleeping in it like we had originally hoped. And I would imagine when the babies get air, having a big cushy, you know, kind of rocking chair downstairs. We also have a glider up here in our bedroom. I don't think it's going to be a bad thing. So we're figuring it out, seeing what works best. But yeah, that's kind of it this week. We do start our birthing class, so I'm kind of excited about that. I'm a little nervous. I don't really know what to expect other than you hear these stories about like Lamaze classes and your breathing and, you know, people kind of make fun of all of that. And so I don't really know. We'll see. So that'll be interesting to kind of report back on that next week. But yeah, I think that's it. I will show you guys my belly because it's huge. I think I say that every week, but I just feel it. So yeah, there they are. Lila again is on this side, sits head up. Caleb's here, sits head down. And that's it. Swelling, still pretty normal. I just am swollen all the time. Anyways, I hope you guys all have a great rest of your week, and I will give you guys an update next week. Bye!